So I just wanted to give a bit of a summary as to where we started, where we've been, where we are, and where we're headed. So back when the Yellow Vest first started, a fellow by the name of Tyler Mellenfant was either lucky enough or smart enough, I'm not sure about that, but anyways, to start a page or a group of Yellow Vest in Canada. So we all joined, and it didn't take very long for most of us to realize that the only admin of the Yellow Vest Canada group that exploded in numbers happened to be a white nationalist and anti-Semite and a few other issues that we felt, or a lot of us felt, would bring disrepute to the movement. So, and this is only from my experience and my perception of things. Everyone has their own experience through this, but this is my experience. So, we tried to convince him to do a number of different things to protect the movement and the integrity of the movement, and himself as well, I guess, at the outset, because I mean, some of us really didn't know what he was all about at the time. So he didn't heed any of our advice. He stayed on his own path, and I think he bit off more than he could chew. It was bigger than he expected it to be, but again, we warned him that his past and his history are going to have detrimental effects to the movement. So we implored him numerous times: take yourself off the admin, add some more admins. This isn't about you. This is about the movement. This is about Canadians and Patriots of Canada. So please do the right thing. Protect the movement. He disregarded all of that advice. So a bunch of us split from that original group. Started another group called United Yellow Vest Canada. And so there were some other groups that started as well. And then within that splinter group, there was a decision to make smaller groups throughout Canada, which I thought was a great idea. Still do. So that's where that went. Now, within that group, there was some dispute over the direction that the movement was going. And I'm not going to get too specific or too particular about this, or even mention any names. It's not fair, I don't think. But so a lot of people were, putting forward their ideas. And throughout the movement, since from the inception here in Canada, we've seen a lot of ideas and a lot of solutions being tossed around, from CPU to referendum to RIC to some other ones as well. Not necessarily bad ideas. And I've never said that, we shouldn't be talking about solutions. But I've always said from the beginning that it's important that we maintain the integrity of the movement, which originally it started based on carbon tax, migrant compact. Those are two issues that Canadians felt were enough of a boiling point to start the movement, based on what we had saw in France with the Yellow Vests. Now, they started as first as a tax on fuel, and that sort of sparked it. Now, they have a bunch of issues that are separate than our issues. They have a bunch of goals that, well, it can be argued are different throughout France. But the basis was the same. I mean, there was a spark, there was an issue. Now, we can relate these issues to the UN and to the UN Sustainable Development Agenda. Carbon tax, migrant pact is directly related to that, among many other issues that are getting lost in this, but that's okay. Because ultimately, we've identified that it's the UN and the Sustainable Development Agenda. So a lot of solutions were being put forth, and some of those folks putting forward those solutions were promoting the movement under those solutions. And so I disagreed, and a number of other people have disagreed through time, that we can't grow the movement by promoting solutions, because solutions can be very dividing. They can be very divisive. So we have to be careful about how we promote the movement. And let's face it, at the end of the day, we don't gain the support from regular Canadians, regular Joe Canadians that are working every day to support their family by promoting solutions at this point. Because the movement needs to gain mass participation. And I'm talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So the movement did get splintered again a little bit by this. There are still a faction or two out there that are going with a solution-based group or direction for a group, and that's okay. I don't mean any ill will to any of those folks. I just think, and there's a lot of us in the movement that think that we should scale this back. So what we did is we got together in a chat, a group chat with representatives from across Canada within the Yellow Vest movement, and we came to a consensus or conclusion within a consensus that we need to stay laser focused, maintain the message, and keep the message straightforward, so we can stay on that path and we can gain momentum and we can gain people to more people to join. So we developed what we called a mission statement. Now, a mission statement doesn't have any connotations attached to it, and I've seen, and you've all seen, lots of different manifestos and proclamations and declarations and you name it. All good. All, it's coming from people that want to see Canada free and want to maintain the sovereignty of our country. It's all good. It's all fantastic stuff. And they're all great ideas. And this is what it's about, free speech and discussing ideas and trying to solve our issues. So I'm not shit-talking any of those plans like Rick or CPU or any of those whatsoever. And if you want to promote them in my group, by all means. If you want to talk about them and discuss them, don't demand, don't tell people they have to do this or they have to, just, you know what, here's an idea, let's talk about this. But we, as a unified movement, we absolutely cannot promote solutions, because solutions are divisive and it creates too much division. We need to rally and we need to unify under one message. So we developed a mission statement. Now, most of you have probably seen it. It's been posted all over. And so that's what we feel as where we are now is following the mission statement, protecting the integrity of the movement, understanding what the movement, where it started and what it's going, where it's going. And it's working. And we're unifying. We have I think there's 35 people in a national group chat from admins all across Canada, including Yellow Vest Rebellion, including the Ottawa convoy, but people from all over that are representing folks from these different groups in the different regions. And let's face it, there's different regions that have different issues that fall under the UN Sustainable Development Agenda. This thing is enormous. It's an enormous redistribution of wealth program run by unelected body to destroy the West and to make all countries on the planet equal. At least that's, what they're sort of telling us. So at the end of the day, we all have our own issues regionally and even city by city. But we all need to focus and stay on message, stay on track, stay on path. So so people joining the movement understand what it's about. So there's cohesion from coast to coast and to coast. So they understand. So people that are not necessarily woke up like the hundreds and 150,000 people that are part of the Yellow Vest movement now, we're woke. We get it. We understand where this is coming from. But there are millions of Canadians that don't. And we need to attract those people into the movement. And we need to do it so they understand first. Yes, we understand you're pissed about the carbon tax. I get it. I am a small business owner. It's going to kill my business. But I also understand that the Migrant Pact is bad for Canada and it takes our sovereignty away from us. I get that too. We all get that. But there's a lot of Canadians that don't understand where that comes from and why these policies are being rammed down our throat. We can't promote solutions if we want to gain more support. We have to stay with the protest and what started the protest and educate and inform at rallies, boots on the ground, real time. This is what's happening, folks. This is why it's happening. Most importantly is why it's happening. And once we get to that critical mass, once we get to millions, then and only then can we start as a group of unified people, millions, then we can talk about solutions and solve the problems that are affecting us. By promoting solutions first, we lose because we won't have the support that we need. 150,000, 300,000, I've heard some people say, is great, it's fantastic, but those are mostly woke people. Those are most people that understand the issues. At the end of the day, we get nowhere unless we're protecting the integrity of the movement and keep the message the same. So, anyway, sorry, that turned into a bit of a rant and a ramble, but man, it's too important. I know the group that I'm involved with now, none of them have a personal ego about this. None of them have a personal agenda. Nobody's throwing, their political group or their other group or union or anything. It's all going in the same direction, and it's working. And that's what we need to stick to. Now, the media, we knew it was coming when they were going to destroy Tyler Malenfant, and in the process, destroy the movement. We knew that was coming. We knew they were going to call us racist. There's a good part of the population that listens to the media when the media says and the government says we're racist for being against the Migrant Pact. Well, we're not. We all know we're not. But we knew they were going to use this. Then you have Antifa that uses that, and they come in and infiltrate our groups and our pages. And then they post these posts that are horrible posts. They want to mentioning killing Trudeau and all these other things. And then they screenshot those comments and they take them back to, Yellow Vest Exposed, or they take it to the media, and the media runs with it because they love it, because it pushes the narrative that Yellow Vest is racist or xenophobic or bigoted or what have you. We knew that was coming. We knew they're going to do it. We have to stay strong. And if we do, and keep moving forward on message, promoting the fact that this is about Canadians. This is about Canada. Last time I checked, Canada was full of different colored Canadians from all over the world. And why are they here? Because Canada is free and has liberty. And that's what we want to maintain. We want to make these choices for ourselves. So no, we're not racist. Of course we're not racist. We all know that. We can't also fight globalism with globalism. Okay? There's been a bit of a faction or a group that says we need to join forces with France and Belgium and Germany. I disagree. We can support them, of course, because we understand that they're fighting their battles. We get it. We support you 100%. But those are their issues. Canada has its own issues. Canada has its own agenda. Canada has its own needs. Canadians have their own needs. So I don't agree with we joining and using their agenda and using their stated goals and apply that to Canadian stated goals. It doesn't work. It has to be a truly Canadian movement by Canadians for Canadians. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to say a few of these things. Of course, I got off on a tangent and a rant, but that's the way it is. So I'm going to, of course, save this and post it up, and Anybody else that wants to share it to other groups, other pages, fantastic, do it, because I want to see this. I want to see this united, and I know we all have a common goal. We all can rally around our mission statement that we've put forward for everyone to band together with. Enough of the infighting, enough of the egos and promoting all these different solutions that only divide. Get behind the mission statement, stay true, stay honest and genuine, and we will take this to where it needs to go, where the solutions can then come in. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, folks.